When you think of California, you probably don't think of spookiness. Hippies, surfers, beaches, Hollywood. It's all pretty weird, sure, but not scary or spooky, right? Well, believe it or not, creepy California does exist, if you know where to look. The state has ghosts, legends, and monsters, and you might be surprised to see that some of them are about as scary as you can get. Between ghosts and creepy serial killers, California has a genuinely bloody history dating back to its formation. It could be the home of Bigfoot, and Old West ghosts are around, shooting it out in some of the nation's finest ghost towns. You don't have to watch this at night or turn off the lights. But with the scary stories and terrifying urban legends in California that we're about to delve into, I highly recommend it. Gravity doesn't always work right in California. In California, a phenomenon called gravity hills exist. For unknown reasons, gravity works differently in these spots. For example, on gravity hills in Southern California, you can put a car in neutral on a hill and the car will inexplicably appear to roll uphill. Many gravity hills have spooky stories, such as horrific car accidents or roadside deaths. Is it some supernatural force at work, or just a trick of perspective, as many suggest? Well, you might just have to go and try it to find out. The hauntings of Turnbull Canyon. Death is said to reside within this hiking canyon in the Puente Hills Preserve near Whittier. Turnbull Canyon was once referred by the Gabrielino Indians as Huda Kinga, or Place of the Devil. The legend talks about the whole region being haunted by the Indians who were murdered for not converting to Catholicism. Their spirits are believed to be lingering in unrest in the canyon. Years later, Turnbull Canyon would be the site of numerous satanic rituals held by a cult attempting to conjure demons and Satan himself, often by sacrificing children from the nearby orphanages. The sinister cult suddenly vanished one night. What was left behind in their wake were paranormal sightings and occurrences being reported by hikers and locals, claiming to see hooded figures, hellish creatures, and mutilated children. More mysterious deaths have occurred in Turnbull Canyon since its dark history began. A teenager was electrocuted while exploring the ruins of an old asylum in the canyon, and a plane also crashed here in 1978, taking 29 lives. To this day, you can supposedly see ghosts of children roaming the area and victims of the kidnapping cult that might still exist. One thing is for certain, this isn't a hike that you want to make on your own. There are tiny men who mess with climbers on Mount Shasta. Now this might sound completely nuts and more funny than frightening, but the legend has been around for a long time. Ever since people have first started climbing Mount Shasta, there have been reports of little people who usually mind their own business, but occasionally they communicate with the climbers. They live in small dwellings on the mountain, and they also have access to portals that lead to fairy portals. Ooh. Again, this doesn't sound so scary, but if you're a serious climber and you suddenly find yourself looking way down to the ground, hundreds of feet below, and the idea of these little people might sound a touch more sinister. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I have heard a lot of eeriness and stuff from Mount Shasta. I don't know about this, but you never know. You never know. The cryptids of California. An inexplicably shaped animal track, an odd noise in the woods, or a disquieting shape barely glimpsed through the underbrush. Or perhaps the frantic word of a camper scared out of his wits by what he swears he saw while backpacking alone. Sightings of cryptids are common in wilderness areas such parts of California, but conclusive proof is vanishingly rare. By their very nature, cryptids are not documented by clear photography or scientific evidence. Much of the information we have about cryptids, especially in California, dates back to old stories and folktales. The Lone Pine Mountain Devil. Most commonly spotted near the small town its name it bears, the Lone Pine Mountain Devil is described as a furry, bat-like creature. It is reportedly slightly larger than a human, with sharp claws and teeth. The mountain devil is thought to generally keep to itself, but to be fiercely territorial. Unfortunately, it seems that humans have been encroaching on its territory for over 150 years now. Settlers in the Great Gold Rush of 1849 first coined the name after finding a large number of coyote and bobcat carcasses strewn about the desert. 1878, a missionary named Father Justice Martinez wrote of a pack of creatures wiping out a wagon train. Sightings continue to this day. Ghost deer. The ghost deer is a true mystery. It appears to be a large bull elk with huge antlers and has been occasionally spotted by hunters and backpackers in the woods near Mount Eddy, California. Strange thing is, elk are not even native to Mount Eddy. And in fact, it's extremely rare to see any there. The ghost deer gets its name from its uncanny ability to evade gunshots and to disappear without a trace. Many hunters have reported shooting at the paranormal creature, sure their aim was true, only for the deer to simply just keep on running. It seems unlikely that there's a scientific explanation for a deer that's immune to bullets. Is it some sort of paranormal entity, or just the hunters getting unlucky? It's difficult to say. Cadborosaurus. The Loch Ness monster has an American cousin. The Cadborosaurus, thought to live in the waters off the Pacific Northwest, has been sighted as far as San Francisco. By compiling data from multiple sightings, cryptozoologists have determined that the creature is about 5 to 15 meters long. Now, I've never ever heard of this one. Have you? It can swim up to 40 knots at surface depth with a serpentine body and a very long neck. In other words, it's a sea serpent. Catty, it's been nicknamed, is most commonly seen in the colder months of October through April. It tends to keep away from boats and ships and doesn't seem to be dangerous, just large. Tahoe Tessie. Have you ever heard of this one? Another water-dwelling cryptid, Tahoe Tessie, is thought to live in Lake Tahoe and is absolutely enormous. Said to be over 80 feet long and covered in jet black scales, the creature could be very frightening, yes. Though stories don't generally have Tessie being very mean to her human neighbors. She's actually well loved by the locals and has become a mascot of some sorts for the town. Tessie is on the logo of many Tahoe local businesses and has been a cartoon character. And sightings are actually quite common. She is still seen multiple times every year. Theories that Tessie is a dinosaur have been discredited by cryptozoologist experts. Today, most people agree that Tessie is a gigantic sturgeon or possibly a freshwater eel. The Fresno Nightcrawler. The Fresno alien, also called the Nightcrawler, is only seen infrequently. It's short and a humanoid creature about 4 feet tall and appears to have no arms. Some say it's in fact wearing a robe or other clothing, which might point towards it not being a cryptid after all, but an extraterrestrial or paranormal entity. Both sightings of the Nightcrawler were on video, including security camera footage of the creature walking through a yard. The owner of the house was awoken by the frantic barking of his dogs. He went outside to investigate and found nothing, but in the morning he reviewed the recorded footage and the legend of the Fresno alien was born. What do y'all think? Cactus Cat. A cowboy legend, but perhaps with a grain of truth. The Cactus Cat is said to resemble a common house cat with a few differences. It's a little bit bigger than the typical cat, standing about 2 feet tall at the shoulder. It survives off cactus sap, slicing the plant open with its sharp claws. And it's covered in spikes like a porcupine. The tales go into amusing detail about the cactus cat becoming drunk off fermented cactus juice, staggering around in an alcoholic stupor. The creature hasn't been spotted in years, and it's unclear if it was ever even real in the first place. Just watch yourself if you come across any stray cats in the desert, and you might want to wear gloves. Hyampom hogbear. Described in the classic cryptozoological text, fearsome creatures of the lumberwoods. The Hyampom hogbear is thought to reside in Northern California. The bear takes its name from the Native American word for its home and for its preferred diet. The Hyampom hogbear just loves pork. Me too. According to lumberjack tales, the beast would creep around pig farms, keeping out of sight most of the year. And around Christmas time, when the pigs were at their fattest, the bear would strike. Finding prey was so plentiful and easy, the creature took to just one bite from each hog, enraging the pig farms to no end. A surveyor captured a bear cub in the 1880s and actually presented it to the National Zoo, claiming that it was a member of this new species. But the story was discredited, and it appears that the cub was just an ordinary black bear. Central American wind tosser. First mentioned in a lumberjack tale recounted in Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods. The Central American wind tosser has been known to journey as far north as California. The cryptid is thought to live in packs and has a triangular body with a short tail. The most notable feature of the beast is it has 10 legs. Limbs sprout off the creature's body at every angle, allowing it to quickly run through any terrain. It can even use its sharp claws to walk upside down or on walls. The wind tosser is said to be very aggressive, so it's best avoided. According to the lumberjacks, the best way to take down a wind tosser is by trapping it in a pipe or a chimney. The beast will try to walk in every direction at one time and tear itself apart. I've never heard of the wind tosser, have you? The monster of Elizabeth Lake. One of the multiple Elizabeth Lake locations throughout California is said to carry an evil presence below the water's surface. The Elizabeth Lake just outside of Lancaster in LA is said to have been created by the devil himself for the keeping of his hellish pets. The urban legend continues to state that a passageway to hell can be found if you swim deep enough in the lake. The first sighting of the monster of Elizabeth Lake dates back all the way to 1880. The monster is said to have the neck of a giraffe, a head of a bulldog, bat wings, and an estimated 50 feet long, and smells of rancid decay. For the next century, sightings of the monster of Elizabeth Lake would continue to be reported and strike fear into the locals' hearts. The locals would be so scared that the landowners would eventually sell or completely abandon the property. Also, attempts to build on the lake's land came to no avail. At night, residents could hear awful screams from the lake and would have terrible visions. Also, attempts to build on the lake's land came to no avail. At night, residents could hear awful screams from the lake and would have terrible visions. Farm animals would disappear, and sightings of a flying winged creature was reported to be seen overhead. Ranchers in the 1800s have even tried to capture the beast, with One of the legends saying that a group of them did in fact kill the monster. However, any proof of the creature's existence or death has yet to be discovered. And what urban legends about cryptids would be complete without Bigfoot? Bigfoot, also called Sasquatch, has been seen hundreds of times over the years. Most recently, the creature seems to make itself home near Roseville, California. Bigfoot hunters are adapting to the times and using drones to track the beast. It seems like Bigfoot's days of mystery and unconfirmed sightings might be coming to an end. Many would say that Bigfoot is what kicked off the modern-day study of cryptozoology, and it would be wonderful to finally have the years of searching pay off. The Billywhack monster would send Bigfoot running for cover. I don't know about that. I love my Bigfoot. It's been said that Bigfoot roams the hills of Northern California, but the state has another monster with a more fear factor. And this legend dates back to World War II. As the story goes, the Billywhack Dairy was once a thriving, state-of-the-art farm with a dark secret. In rooms under the dairy, an OSS officer named August Rubel conducted horrifying experiments trying to make a super soldier to help the war effort. Fortunately, he didn't succeed, but he created a monster which was left behind when he went overseas to fight. The monster, left alone, escaped and now terrorizes high school students in the area, or anyone who dares to stop their car on a farm road late at night. As a large state with a great deal of history and wilderness, it's only natural that cryptids would have a place in the lore of California. Some of these creatures are undoubtedly pure fabrication, but equally sure is that some are real. Keep an eye out in your wilderness adventures, and who knows, you might just make a friend or at least come back with a story to tell. Alright guys, thank you all for watching this episode of Tales Told in the Dark, Urban Legends of California, my state. So I hope I did it well. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment. I love my comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.